Welcome everybody. My name is Nora. I'm with the South Dakota Day of Giving. We are here today with Dawn just to talk a little bit about some tips or thoughts that they have had from Abbott House on working with South Dakota Day of Giving, and just talk about how last year went and any things they want to add as we look at this next Day of Giving coming up this year. So Dawn, do you want to introduce yourself real quick?
Yeah, I'm Dawn Galloway. I'm donor engagement and events coordinator with Abbott House. We own and operate therapeutic foster homes throughout the state. So we're in Rapid City, Mitchell, Sioux Falls, and then we have a psychiatric treatment facility in Mitchell that has been around for 85 years. So we, hope to heal and help the youth of South Dakota.
That's great. So as you said, you guys are in Mitchell, you're in Sioux Falls, you're in Rapid City. You've got a lot going on. You guys do a lot all throughout the year. I know you've done some capital campaigns, might be looking at some additional ones. That's a lot. How do you guys approach Day of Giving as we know, like just a small piece of some of this overall? Do you use content that you've used elsewhere, or you kind of just, how do you manage that as just kind of looking at a larger giving strategy as well?
Yeah, so, I think one of the most important things is to, establish your goal, and, pick something tangible that donors can contribute to. So we have decided early on that our focus, just because of the time of year, was Christmas gifts for our kids. So I think having that in mind, and having a clear goal and, just a clear plan of where that money was going to, it really helped us, not feel like this day was going to make or break, our fiscal year. So I think it's, approaching with those specifics in mind.
Yeah, no, that's great. Yeah, especially I love the tangibility of like Christmas gifts, right? It's something that someone can picture. They picture a kid getting a gift. It can be quick, and like you said, you're not asking for a building or so,
right.
Something that people can see.
Yeah.
So we get a lot of questions from groups specifically that sometimes work with youth issues, especially serious youth issues, or sometimes people who are really dealing with some of our heavier aspects of nonprofits, which are really important. But it can be hard, I think, for some people when the day is like, yay, so exciting, let's have fun, let's be goofy. Do you want to talk a little bit about how Abbott House, which does some really serious and important things, works to still keep it light as part of your campaign?
Yeah, I think it helps because we do work with kids. And so even with their backgrounds and what it is they're dealing with, they're still children. And so we have that side, where we are fun and we enjoy our work and what we're doing with those kids. And I think it helps donors too to kind of get to know us more on a personal level and not just as fundraisers. So, we enjoy doing the silly things. There was a picture that we had all taken, pretending to be super tired and in the middle of the night with coffees in our hands. And, it's also a nice, bonding experience for the team too, just to kind of, get that creativity going and, what kind of fun stuff can we do, that's different from our normal everyday message, which, like you said, is typically more serious.
Yeah. Well, and you guys do a great job, I think, of integrating the kids in some of your content too, which I know can be tricky with confidentiality. One of my favorites was when you thanked your donors by, I think you baked them banana bread. But you had great pictures of your kids baking the banana bread, and I don't know, you guys have a great way of integrating that. Do you want to talk just a little bit about how you kind of ride that line a little bit?
Yeah, Privacy is always key. So anytime we do share pictures, we try to have the kids facing away from the camera or use, a really cute emoji to cover their faces. But, again, they're kids. They want to be involved with this stuff. And that particular post that you mentioned, we had some of our kids helping us bake banana bread and pumpkin bread to thank our donors at the end of the year. And so, they want to be involved. They know that this is for them. I mean, it's, just a fun way to incorporate that while still respecting everybody's privacy.
Yeah, no, that's great. I love it. As we were talking a little bit before we started today, you mentioned about how you sort of set up your day and the planning that went into that so that you kind of had a smooth day. Do you want to talk through just a little bit about what kind of things you had in place or what you did, whether it's scheduling or just having content ready before the day started?
Yeah, so I mean, I would just say preparation is key. I'm queen of spreadsheets. I love spreadsheets. So I had my entire day planned, exactly what I was going to post and what time and what that content was about, any hashtags. I had it all planned out. And, so day of, I wasn't scrambling to try and post and keep up with how we were doing on our goals and things like that. It was all taken care of beforehand. Another thing, though, that we focused on was engaging people before Day of Giving. So, leading up to it, we had social media posts, which you guys encourage. We sent out emails, we personally reached out to people, just letting them know how their support that day could make a difference. And, it just kind of makes everything fall into place on that day and, go really smoothly.
Yeah, no, I think we hear a lot about, it's hard to be on social media all day. And we know that so many people are doing this, but they're also working with maybe their kids or their clients directly too. And so it's a lot to handle. I love the idea of kind of having this, like, I don't have to think about it. Oh, it's 1:00. I can just do this and then kind of go back to what I'm normally doing. And then, yeah, telling people beforehand, that's a huge thing we try to hammer home, right? If you don't tell people you're doing the day, they're not going to figure it out on the day.
Right.
So,
right. And I would say like most of, the people who gave that day in the beginning, those were the people that, had already known about it. They were prepared. They knew what we were raising money for. So yeah, it makes the day a lot easier.
No, that's great. Well, great. Well, if you were to talk to someone who is either thinking about a campaign for Day of Giving or just looking at this year, what is maybe one or two things that maybe you'd throw out and give some advice for anybody looking at a campaign this year?
Yeah, start early.
Yeah.
And, just get that messaging out, weeks prior. So donors know what's coming, and they know how they can make an impact. I think making it personal, like using, photos of the kids and what it is we do is super important. People give to people, not just causes or organizations, things like that, so we want to, share stories and, just show how that impact is made. I know one of the pictures we shared for a throwback was of kids from, maybe the 90s or early 2000s opening up their gifts, and so you just, hey, this is what we're providing, because of what you are donating. And we appreciate that. And the kids, appreciate that too. And I think just sharing those stories is important. I think we also did a nice job of engaging our board members. So if you have board members who can participate, have them share your social media posts, have them write thank you notes to donors, have them reach out to people personally too, and just get them involved because sometimes board members don't have the opportunity to get that involved, and this is the perfect day to invite them, to help out. So,
Yeah. No, I love that. It's a nice, tangible, kind of really, I don't want to say small, but compact ask, right, for those board members. Like, you're not asking for hundreds of dollars or to introduce you to a big sustaining donor. It's like, no, we need this now. We need it for a Christmas present. And yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
Great. Well, thank you so much for your time today, Dawn. I really appreciate it. And we're excited again for this year's South Dakota Day of Giving. It always comes up faster than we know it's going to. So definitely thanks for your tip for plan early. And yeah, thanks for all you do and for all Abbott House does in South Dakota. So.
Thank you for the day. It's a fun day. It's a great day.
Thanks so much.